Cheers.
Cheers.
I don't know who's more awkward, me or you.
It's definitely you.
I
Oh
think
my gosh, it's definitely
it's
you.
you. I feel
There's
like
not a chance in the world.
no, I just feel like you make it. I feel like you bring it out of me. Like
It's
if you
'cause,
weren't
like,
here and it was just me, I would be
if it
fine.
was just you, yeah. Like you
'Cause-
see, everything is so awkward around you.
Because-
It's like we are like our personalities clash.
They
like
do
you bring out
clash.
the total awkward and
You
everything. Because I promise, I'm
make
not
me
awkward.
awkward.
I'm not awkward around anybody else. It's
I
just
would
you.
disagree.
There's always this weird silence, and it's just
Okay.
like awkward.
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I've learned to live with it. Before it used to kill me inside. Now I'm just like, all right, things are gonna be awkward.
God, it's so miserable
time.
hanging out with me. I feel like Johnny's a little worse. And
Okay.
I think everyone's just really awkward. The only one that is not awkward is Majesty.
No,
But at least I can admit it.
It's always.
I feel like you're closet awkward right now. Like you're in denial.
I've learned to accept it. I've learned to accept that like your awkwardness is like part of your like. It's part of your charm. It's like. I think you do it on purpose
I
sometimes.
don't. I
Just
really
to, like,
don't.
Just to
I'm
test
so
people.
socially awkward when I go into a room. I have no idea where to look or like what to do. I just go to the bathroom. Can you put the microphone closer to your mouth?
I can try. It's better.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, are you still going to China?
Yeah, I think so. I have no idea when though.
Oh.
And that's the nature of basketball is like you're basically like, oh, this is coming up, but I'm not gonna tell you when, and I'm not gonna tell you when you're gonna know or anything like that. So it's always up in the air every
Damn.
year.
I know, because last year you literally were like, hey guys, I'm leaving the country in next week.
Yeah, it's always like very like you sign and then you're gone like a few days later.
So they tell you, and then it's like, what, a week?
Yeah, you basically like it could be anywhere. Like the most heads up I've ever gotten to play somewhere has been like I had like about half a month or like close to a month for Indonesia, and that was like the longest heads up I've ever had. Everything else has been like literally next day or 2 days later. I think
Damn.
my first contract I signed with Japan. I had a birthday, and then immediately, like I think on my birthday or right after my birthday, I got the contract to go play in Japan, and then the day later I was gone. So
Damn.
when I played in Mexico, it was like literally I signed. My agent called me. I was in the gym. It was nighttime. He called me. He's like, "Hey, send you something. Sign it." I signed it, and then stayed up. Got on a flight at like 5 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
And played. Like
Oh
right
my
after I got off the
gosh.
flight, I went right to the stadium and played a
Are
game.
you serious?
Yeah, it was insane.
You didn't even know like the team's chemistry or anything?
No,
You just
nothing.
got thrown
I
in?
just like walked into the stadium, shoot around, and coach was like, "Hey, I'm the coach," and I was like, "Hey, I'm Adam,"
That's crazy.
and play the game. And
Because I'm
then,
sure it takes
yeah.
so much to build the team chemistry.
Yeah, right after the game, I went right to sleep because I was like, I hadn't slept in like 24 hours.
That's crazy. So what team are you playing for in China?
I did a Big Three tour, so
Okay.
it
I
was
don't
like
know what that is.
All right, so the Big Three that I played in last season, that was in like the U.S. and we traveled to a different city every week.
Yeah.
They did a trip to China, so I went on that and we play a few exhibition matches in China.
Okay.
Fans love it. They come out and we hang out and we just act reckless. And
Okay.
it's a fun time.
So it's like you're on tour now.
Yeah.
You're not playing for like
No.
for the country.
No, that's gonna be later because right now I have like my break before I sign with a new team probably. So
Okay.
in the meantime, I kind of do these tours and have fun. It's like anywhere that like is like seems like a cool destination that like I can hang out with some cool people. I go to any of those. So,
Yeah.
like there's it's supposed to be like a trip to like Thailand. It's supposed to be a trip to like Australia. Like I'm just like, yeah, I'm going.
That
Like,
sounds so
I'm down.
fun.
Play some basketball, hang out,
And then you
enjoy
have
myself.
people like waiting for you. I remember last year
Uh,
you had people TikToking with you and making videos with you. That was
yeah,
so cool.
yeah, that was super fun. Cause I always meet like the coolest people. Um,
I didn't know
I
you
don't
had
know
it in
how,
you. The
because I'm
TikTok
like
dances.
weird. Like I'm very avoidant socially. So like people seek me out and they're like, hey, you should come. Like I was in Indonesia and like I had two people that were just like, they messaged me on Instagram. They're like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, well, nothing, hanging out. I don't live in this country,
So you met
like
up with them
not from
randomly
here.
through
So,
Instagram?
and they were like, well, they worked with the team,
Oh, okay,
but
okay,
we
okay.
didn't interact. So like, they were like, hey, come out with us tonight. I was like,
Okay. That's
I don't have a
fine.
car. They're like, we're gonna come pick you up. You have no choice.
I thought you
Took
were
me to
talking about like a
karaoke.
random people.
Oh no, I've done that too.
Oh,
Like,
oh, you're not worried you're gonna get. I guess you don't have to worry about getting kidnapped. 'Cause you're
nah,
like
it's like,
6'4".
all right, like I kind of like read the situation. Like there have been some situations where like I'm like, hey, probably shouldn't like hang out with him. It might get weird. Because like some people will hit you up and they're just, yo, you need to come to my parents' house and you need to meet my entire
My
family.
parents'
And you need
house.
to, yeah. I was like,
Take it straight to fifth
yeah,
base.
yeah. No, it's like random people. It'll be like the weirdest stuff ever.
What's
But
like the weirdest?
most people, the weirdest was like
If you remember.
someone invited me to like their like church.
Oh, that's weird
And
to you.
No, the church
Just
wasn't
kidding.
weird. The church was lit, but
Just kidding. You're gonna get
it
canceled.
it
for
was
that.
the it was like they had like a meeting afterwards
It was like
for like the
a not normal
church homies. Yeah, it wasn't a normal church. It was like, and they had like a meeting later,
Oh,
and like I
Illuminati.
didn't know anyone there.
Was it
and-
Scientology?
no, it was like Christianity, but it was like
Okay.
it was like not it was like not traditional in the sense that like or to my experience of like what normal like group does. And they had like a meeting afterwards and it was like all these people hanging out and like I just remember thinking like, why am I here? Because like
Were they
every time
converting
they were
you?
like, hey, like because I got invited by like this one fan like, and she was like, you need to come to my church and hang out with everybody. It's gonna be fun. Like it's a fun time. And I thought I was gonna be hanging out with people like close to my age
Okay.
and like
Because
I don't
like the normal Christian churches are pretty fun. I used to be in the youth group
yeah.
and stuff
No,
like
like
that.
it is supposed to be fun. Like and I went and it was like me, it was a girl, her mom, and like her brother, and then a whole bunch of like random people that I don't know, and they
Yeah.
all like clearly had like they were great friends, and like I was just this random dude, and they were all like, "Oh, who's that dude?" And I'm like, "It's a basketball player."
I just
I
met
messaged
him.
him, and he showed up, and I was like, I just remember thinking like, this is one of the ones I probably should have just like
Yeah.
not gone.
I guess
But
at
like
that
at
point,
the time, I was just like, oh, anything that I was just like bored, and I was like, anything, I'll just whatever, I'm down. Like
yeah.
I was trying to be like a yes man.
Okay.
And that day, I actually didn't have a bad time or anything, but like I just remember thinking like
It was just like
I shouldn't have
so
gone here.
random.
Yeah, because everyone like the only person that was like an actual fan of me was like the like or knew me as the mom and the like the girl, and they were like, oh yeah, he's a basketball player, and everyone else was like, why is he here? What's he doing? And I was like, I don't know why I'm here. I couldn't answer it.
Gosh,
But the
that's
best time
awkward.
I had was in Indonesia. They like took me to karaoke and like
I love
pizza
karaoke.
and just a night on the town. I had the best time. I love karaoke.
Me too. We've never done karaoke.
I love karaoke. Like
We should do karaoke.
We should. We should.
I'm serious. We should.
What are your go-tos?
Rihanna. Some
That's
Rihanna.
solid.
Doesn't sound very solid, but it's
What?
Gasolina.
That's the thing.
I
Like,
like that
karaoke,
one.
you can't doubt yourself. You gotta,
Commit.
yeah, you gotta really commit. I learned this in Japan. I always thought karaoke was just like, oh, sing bad on purpose because it's funny.
Yeah.
And in a lot of countries like Japan, they take it very seriously. So everybody can sing, and there would be like we had a
Everyone's
team
a
trainer.
performer.
Yeah, everyone's like a performer, and like I had teammates that like didn't say a word all season, like nothing. Go out there and sing their heart out. And and I was like, oh my gosh,
You got the best of both worlds.
they were like Disney kids, like
Hannah
they knew how to
Montana
sing.
life.
Yeah, like we had a team trainer, and she all season was, hey, that was it. Like that's all she didn't know, any English, nothing. And at the end of the season, we had our party, and it was at a karaoke place, and she went up there on the stage, and she was the shyest person on the planet. She went up there and sang that Hannah Montana stuff.
Oh my god!
Party in the USA. Oh my gosh, she was on point.
That's a good one.
Oh my goodness.
That's a good one. What's your go-to?
I always go for Fleetwood Mac.
Okay.
That's like I always do a
more
Fleetwood
of a
Mac
chill
song.
vibe.
Yeah, for me, those are like, I love singing those.
With karaoke, I'm just scared to be like that one person that kills the vibe, where it's like everyone's on this hype mood, and then there's always that one person that puts on the slow song, and now we have to watch and pretend to like it.
You can't do a slow song.
You can't.
Unless you're like, all right, if it's like sad karaoke, like
if like everyone else is doing it, then maybe you can get away with it, but then it just gets awkward if you just like stand there and look sad.
No, I try to do like chill songs. And like, I don't know, I always go for like, every now and then I'll do like Kings of Leon.
I was literally just thinking that.
Yeah, I love.
There's no way you just said that. Okay.
Yeah, I just like, I try not to go for like the very, very mainstream hits, but like,
yeah, I
try to like sing stuff that people know.
I try to get creative with it too, but sometimes you just have to do a little riptide,
Yeah. Like I have my like go-tos. I like practice them in the shower and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm actually creating a playlist right now of karaoke songs that I need to practice. So.
What's can you give you a sneak preview of your list?
There's a couple Taylor Swift songs on there. But like the old Taylor Swift.
Old Taylor Swift.
There's some old Rihanna, and then there's some Usher and some Chris Brown. Yeah, times 3.
You like that?
I like singing Chris Brown. I feel like he's in my range.
All right.
My vocal range. I think that's important too, because I cannot hit a falsetto to save my life.
That's cool. All right, we're gonna have to karaoke because I need to see this.
What's your weirdest experience with someone from like the reality show audience? Because I'm sure that's recent, and I know you're looking at Twitter literally before we sat down and talked.
Oh, yeah. There've been a few. I think a while back there was one that was really funny. So a lot of people were very invested in like the show, and they wanted to know like, oh, what is everybody doing? What's going on? And I think people want to see everyone from the show together.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, as cool as everybody is, we don't like hang out every day.
As cool as everyone is, I don't like them.
Oh no, I love those guys. Like, we were locked in a set for a whole month.
Yeah,
together.
so
like,
you were there for a whole month with no phone.
No phone, and we just like, the only thing we had was each other's company and unlimited alcohol.
And I know you had unlimited alcohol. Alyssa did not have unlimited alcohol.
No, she didn't have unlimited alcohol. I was in the house, so like,
and
I
had
a
an
fun
unlimited chef, right?
So we just had like, we had a notebook, and it was like, write whatever you want in the notebook, and it will appear.
Like food wise?
Yeah.
Or like
or
anything.
Anything.
Really?
Anything. So
like if you like needed a guitar or something?
No, I didn't try that. But like it probably would have happened.
I know you had your equipment, right?
Yeah, I brought my guitar with me. But like, I didn't bring my guitar to be like annoying, Like some people like, oh, I brought my guitar. Everyone gather around. I don't.
Is he that guy? Like
I'm not
in
that
high
guy.
School?
I'm not the one that does that. I don't just bring my guitar places. I actually like people that I find that annoying.
Okay.
But one of the producers on the show was like, hey, you play the guitar. You need to bring your guitar
and play it.
And I was like, I probably shouldn't though, because it's a group setting, I don't want to steal attention by bringing a guitar. And she's like, no, you need to bring it anyways.
And then I didn't finish the show, but were you ever in a setting where you had to play for everyone at like a...
There were times where like people got bored and they were like, hey, play a song or whatever. But like, surprisingly enough, like none of me playing the guitar made it onto the show.
Really?
Like, I was like, I did not bring this thing for any reason.
That's just not in anymore, unfortunately. Yeah.
It was wild.
Know.
Like there was some like behind the scenes of everybody playing guitar. Like one thing we'd like to do, since we didn't have any electronics, we would like, there was a guy on the show named Simon, and he loved to sing Usher songs.
Oh,
so wow. I'd play and he would sing Usher and like we just have fun like that. We just goofed around.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, like no reason to bring that guitar.
That's funny. I think playing the guitar has lost its spark nowadays. I don't know what's the new thing. Like DJing is like what's in now, because
like the dances,
the TikTok dances.
Yeah.
Like can you TikTok
dances.
dance?
I can't. I want to.
I've seen it.
I tried, but I'm
not
great. But like I will bust it out. Like I try.
Just like busting out the guitar. I used to tell guys like, hey, I play guitar, and I used to get really good reactions, but now I don't get any reactions.
No, it's like, all right, like I feel like, all right, if a girl's like, yeah, I play guitar, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
I mean,
like,
I think it's
that's
dope.
pretty like, but if like a dude is like, hey, like let me bust out the old guitar and play like the 3 chords they know, like that's not fun.
Did you watch the Barbie movie?
I did.
At the end, when he's playing guitar for her and she's like pretending, and he's just like getting off from her, just watching him play guitar.
But that's like the vibe. Like anyone that brings a guitar, like that's the vibe they give off.
That's
and I'm like,
what's gonna happen.
I don't ever want to be that person.
That is a dream come true.
So on the show, everyone that like arrived and didn't understand the situation and just saw a guitar with me was just like, that guy's probably like jerk. I was like, I promise I'm not that guy.
That's
like
so funny. I wonder if there's like a name for the stereotype. The guitar guy.
Like I used to call them like guitar Brads.
Brad.
There's always somebody named like Brad that's like, hey.
And it's always they're always Caucasian.
Yeah. And they always like, it's always like they're not that good at singing. You know, like they try to sing, but it's not that great, and they always like kind of mess up on their chords. They're not fast enough, or like not quite good enough.
So they're not doing it to actually play. They just,
and like I'm not to toot my own horn, but I'm not bad. Like I
no, you're good. You're pretty good.
But like I'm also like not a play my favorite song. Like I'm gonna play my songs.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. Yeah.
I'm like I don't play other people's stuff.
When people start making requests to
I'm like
guitar,
they were like, oh, play Justin Bieber.
Crazy.
I was like, I love Biebs, but I don't play other people's stuff like that. So
that's annoying.
I was just hanging out, and most of the time I would just like, because we'd only shot during like, we very rarely shot during the day, so we'd have like a lot of hours where we're just doing nothing but hanging out. So we'd like hang out, drink. Some people would take naps or do whatever, and then I would go and sit on the balcony on the roof, or not the roof, like the upstairs. It was weird. Like the upstairs was like
a patio balcony thing.
Yeah. So I just go up there and play the guitar and hang out, and like the camera people have to follow you and
everywhere.
So, yeah. And
oh my God.
Like the producers also have to follow you because they have to make sure you don't like run away.
Oh my God. And like they really, like people would really try to run away. Like it would get that bad.
But like they had to watch you just to make sure you didn't like
I don't know what,
or whatever we were gonna do. Like we're all adults, so I don't know what we were gonna do, but like they had to watch. So like if I went on the roof to take a nap, someone or 2 people had to like sit there and watch me take a nap, and they got the cameras outside looking at you.
That's insane. I would get so paranoid. I think I'd.
The funniest is when you sleep. Like they got the cameras in your room.
That's
watching
crazy.
You sleep.
What if someone's like, never mind.
Yeah.
Were you allowed to have laptops?
No, nothing. Like
oh my God,
no
I would
electronics.
die. I would go insane. Didn't you have like a therapist in the house?
Yeah, you have a therapist every few days. You have to go and talk to the therapist, and they have to like they grill you. They're like, what's on your mind? Tell me what's going on. And they're also like they're instructed kind of to like, hey, the show needs to have some drama.
Yeah.
So to like, don't don't like fix them all the
Like,
way, you know,
stop
like
thinking of yourself.
yeah,
Or,
like like you're never gonna find that the therapist is not gonna be like, hey, like chill out.
Yeah.
People are like, well,
And how
just
does that
react
make
how
you
you
feel?
want to react. Like, because if they tell you to chill out, you're just like, no one's gonna do
That's
anything. And the whole point of the
crazy.
show is to like, I don't know, stir the pot.
Oh,
So
for sure. And I watched a Playboy interview recently with Holly Madison, one of the Playmates, and she had a therapist, but it was Hugh Hefner's friend, and though she was only allowed to go to him so that she wouldn't, because anyone else would tell her to leave, and she couldn't leave. So it was like this fucked thing of just.
It's crazy. I think some people were losing their minds. Like, we're not losing their minds. I make it seem like it was like a jungle. Like, it was really very chill, and like a lot of the time, everyone's hanging out and having a great time. But
like a retreat, kind of.
yeah, it's like you just kind of get thrown in with a bunch of random people every few days, or every day or other day. It's like someone new comes into the house, and like after a while, because I was there despite like the actual show seeming this way, I was actually there for like a really long time.
Yeah,
so,
you were gone.
Yeah, like I didn't get eliminated, so like I was on the show for a long time, to the point where like there was like 3 or 4 other people who had been on the show. Like at one point there was only 3 people that had been on longer than me, so everyone in the house, like we kind of became like these veteran people. It was like it's like it felt like years went by, like,
oh, I bet,
because when I got there, everyone looked like they had been through some kind of trauma. They
oh
were
my
like,
god,
oh, I'm surviving, you know, I'm trying not to get eliminated. And I didn't even, when I got on, I didn't even know there were eliminations on the show. Like,
how did you not get eliminated?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Alyssa.
I was not, Alyssa.
Because Alyssa
yeah,
you.
like
it's so funny. I was watching my old vlog earlier yesterday, and there's a part where I reference, and we're having a recording session with an artist, and Johnny was like, Alyssa, if we need the artist to go home, we're gonna need you to kick him out. And then I played the snippet of the part in the reality show where she's like,
turn back around
come back to where you came from. Oh my god,
that was wild. Like, there was, like, the producers have a master plan for you, and like that's their job, is to like game plan, like, okay, how can we tell a story through you all?
Yeah.
And the way they even got me on the show was like, they were like, oh, this is a show about like, you know, seeing your growth and like how you've changed over the years, you know, from who you were to who you are now.
So you didn't even know what it was
no,
going to
I
be,
didn't
what
know
it was going to be?
I didn't know
dating
it was a dating show.
Are you serious?
I did not know. And I'm like,
That's
I might
insane.
be dumb, but like,
you just didn't read that email.
No, like, and I met with the producers and everybody, you know, I'm sitting there like on a Zoom call, because it took me a really long time to even like fathom going on the show. Because at first they messaged me on like Instagram. I was like, no. And they kept on messaging me, and like I thought it was a joke.
They didn't like email. I'm surprised they wouldn't email.
Like, I think they did. I just didn't read it.
You just
like,
don't check emails.
I thought it was a joke, because I thought it was just spam. It was
I've
like, hey, you want to go on a show and whatever.
before.
I was like, not really. Like, and then they were like, hey, can we have a Zoom meeting? And they were calling too. Like, they got my number. They were calling, Zooming, and like they were like, hey, can you have a Zoom meeting with everybody? And I up to that point, I thought that my friends were pranking me. So when I got on the Zoom meeting, and it's like Elon, who worked on The Bachelor, and all these people,
Oh my
and like
god.
Amazon or whatever, I thought my friends had hired
What?
actors and actresses to prank me.
Why
So
would
I
they
got
do
on the
that?
Zoom, and I was like, you guys went over the top.
What?
And they were like, what are you talking about? I was like, really? And they were like, no, we want you on the show. We're doing this. We're filming here.
my
We want
God.
that. And like, I was like, oh, you all are serious.
Oh my
And
god.
so like after that, when I finally did go on the show, the way that they phrased it was like, oh, it's just a show about like exploring, you know, how you changed, and a whole bunch of other people are going to be going through the same process, and you can leave whenever you want. And
What?
all this, they were just telling me all kinds of stuff. And then I
That's
get on there,
crazy.
and they're like,
You can't leave and give us your phone.
Yeah, because up to that point, I had never met Alyssa. Like, we never met, and like we went to the same high school, but we did not
Okay. I was
interact.
gonna say,
Like, and
you
our
said
parents, yeah, our
otherwise. The
parents know each
show.
other. So I get on the show, and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, like first you have to wait in the hotel for like I've waited in the hotel for like 5 days for the quarantine, and
That's
then
a long
yeah,
time.
I was like the shortest time out. Most people had to wait for like a week,
Because it was
2 weeks.
during COVID.
Yeah.
So you had to quarantine to make sure.
Yeah. Some people were losing their minds, escaping and
Yeah, that's
wandering,
oh
and you're not
God.
allowed to leave your room in the hotel. So
Are you serious?
yeah.
That's
So
so crazy.
I was just, when I finally got on to the show, I'm
You're
sitting there,
already
I was like, what's the
primed.
holdup? Like, and they go in and they're like, I'm like, oh, well, it's going to be really cool to meet everybody. So like, what's the deal? Like, we all just kind of get put in a house and we all just hang out. Like, what's the premise? And they're like, they put a microphone up to my face, bring all the cameras out. And they're like, so
Immediately.
tell us how long you've loved Alyssa.
Oh my God.
I was like, I've never met Alyssa.
Did you really say that?
Yeah, I looked them dead in the eye. I was like,
You're like,
I
who?
haven't met her. Like
you knew of her?
I knew
but-
of her. Like
you knew the name.
yeah, they were like, this girl went to your high school
Yeah.
as well. Do you know her? I was like, not really, no. And they were like, well, like it'd be cool to explore that. You all went to the same high school.
Oh
How
my
cool is that?
goodness.
And I was like, okay, what does that have to do with the show? And like, right when I get there, they're like, tell us how long you've admired Alyssa and like everything you like about her. And
How
I was like,
obsessed you are with her.
I was like, yeah, I don't like none of that. And they were like, but if you did, like, if you did, what would you say? So I was like, you know what? Like, her eyes are cool.
Her eyes are cool.
Yeah, I said something, and then like when I actually went out there and met her, she ended up being really cool.
I mean, I know she's so cool, but I remember I think the 4th episode whenever y'all had the homecoming.
oh my
Was it
gosh.
prom?
Yeah.
And you both said that y'all were in love with each other, and
Oh, that was
like,
wild. No, like
I was like,
So-
what did you do with my friend?
yeah, it's like part of it is like you're in the moment, but also you're a part of somebody else's design. So like the producers had already like framed like, all right, so this like Alyssa's gonna have like a few like weird like arrivals, and it's not gonna go well. It's gonna be some
Yeah.
goofy moments and whatever, and things are just gonna go downhill, and then Adam's gonna show up, and like that's their plan. So like
Okay.
they're sitting there trying to expedite it, and they know like they're like, okay, we can't have like a whole bunch of dates of them, so we have to like
Speed up
expedite the relationship. So they're sitting there saying, hey, okay, first date, me and Alyssa have had like 2 conversations,
express delivery.
and like we've had to like walk in and walk out 7 times to reshoot
Okay.
stuff and whatever, and like the whole time like we're laughing, having fun,
Yeah.
because it's funny, like you're filming stuff and you're having a fun time, but we didn't actually really get to talk that much. And what we are talking about is like the producers are like, hey, talk about
they're telling you what to
yeah,
talk
they're
about.
like they're giving you the theme of the conversation.
So when did you actually get to know Alyssa? Was it after the show?
I'd say a little bit of both, because like, all right, despite like them telling us what to talk about, we actually talked in depth about a
Okay.
lot of stuff. And
Did y'all get to hang out like during the show, or did they? Because I know
not
y'all
really.
were separated.
Yeah, no, it was like you have your dates and then you can't see each other or talk to each other
In between.
in between. So like I think
So weird.
during the show we had a photo shoot with Amazon, was like, hey, we want to get headshots and photo shoots for everybody for the promo, and they were having it on Alyssa's side of the premise of the
Okay.
premises.
What was it? Like a ranch?
It was in Malibu. It was this giant, like, I guess a ranch, but like giant area with like a lot of people have weddings there.
Okay.
So
So it was like 2
Yeah.
houses.
yeah, and like the house that we were, they had like suites for all the like Alyssa and everyone like that had their own suite,
Okay.
and that's like where brides.
Oh,
would
okay.
stay.
I went to a wedding recently
Yeah.
with something like that.
And then our house where the arrival stayed at was a Pepperdine frat house,
Oh
or
my
that
gosh.
they converted into a I guess, a set.
Oh, nice.
So they built up like stuff. It was actually a really cool setup.
Would you do it again? Wasn't there going to be a spin-off?
I think there was like a lot of stuff in the mix, like because it's a reality show. The nature of reality shows is like people are always like, oh, we need to do a spin-off with you, and like we need to do another spin-off. We need to do a reunion. We need to do all kinds of stuff, and you never know what's gonna happen. So everyone's like trying to figure out what their lane is and what their next move is.
Yeah,
it's cool. Like when it works out, but a lot of the time it's like some of it just never materializes, or it does materialize and it's not like as grand as everyone thinks it's gonna be.
I really wanted you guys to do that YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, that would have been cool. I think it just got like, at the time I was like playing, and like Alyssa was doing her modeling, and we just like had no time to do the channel. And like when we did, it was like we were like drained. It was like I'd be flying every week to play games, and like I come back and it was like, hey, you want to grind content and edit videos all day? I'm like,
no,
not really. No.
We were also in studio sessions.
Yeah,
like,
and we were
day.
Every day because we were in LA that whole time.
All day,
and like,
every day was studio
yeah,
sessions.
every day was occupied. Like I don't know how we made it to Disney.
I remember y'all went to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's when I left.
Oh yeah, that's when you. Okay, yeah.
I thought it was Six Flags.
No, it was Disney.
Oh my gosh, I'm so mad.
And Universal. We went to both.
I'm so mad. I remember that one day we snuck off to the beach.
Oh yeah,
we had a studio session. We can talk about it now. It's been a year.
Yeah, it's been a year.
We had a studio session.
Sorry to the artist, but
and
we were like, that was like 9 to 5s every day. We were just like every day in the studio, wake up, eat, and then be right into a session, and then
record,
go have lunch, another session, and then
dinner,
go out, dinner,
maybe go out,
dinner, and when we go out, it always was like a business go out, like, oh, we need to meet with so and so, or we need to go have a sit down with what's his face, or always something.
So you still need to be on your P's and Q's.
Yeah, in the middle of that, I'm like sneaking off to the gym to like
go
get my like.
I remember one time you left early for a session to go to the gym to practice, and Johnny was like, "Are you leaving?"
I was like,
and you were like, "Dude, I'm in the middle of a season right now."
In season, I'm like, "Hey, I have no time." Like, I don't know how I'm having time for any of this,
but Johnny was from waking up. He would wake up at like 7.
Yeah, he would wake up and he would just like edit and be on the laptop,
and then
like
he would try to get me up early, and I was like, "No, dude, we just went out."
I know, we're hanging out in LA, like we're supposed to live it up a little bit, and we were in like a cool house setup, like, so I was like, hey, let's enjoy our time a little bit.
It was cool, but the Airbnb, I feel like, catfished us really bad.
Oh yeah,
like, everything was a lot tinier.
Yeah, way tinier, but like honestly,
so
I still had a fun time.
I still had a great time, yeah. So we snuck off to the beach one time. We had a studio session, and Johnny's manager kept trying to book stuff for that day, and I kept saying, no, sorry, we're busy. Like, we're so busy. Like, so many things to do, which we did have a lot of things to do.
We did. Like, it wasn't alive. It was just like every day, like artists found out like, oh, they're in town. Like they're doing like, so everyone was trying to get a session, and like everyone's trying to get so many songs done.
Yeah.
So we're like
multiple
we're pumping out like
done.
3 songs a day, like with artists, and we're just like writing, we're producing, we're making the instrumentals for every song, like,
which is so fun. But after like 3 weeks, it's just so draining.
And like you're switching genres every artist too, so it's like really tough because like, all right, you got to write for one artist who like wants to do like more hip hop. Then like the next artist wants to be like
K-pop,
broad and like, and then it's K-pop, and then
K-pop
it's like
and Tyga.
Yeah, then it's like EDM-esque. I'm like, hey, like,
and then back to pop,
this
and
is
then
a
trap.
lot. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then it's fun.
It is fun. Like, it's just, I think when you're in the studio all day, every day with like a lot of other stuff going on, it's just like a little bit draining.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't even know how, like, because I felt like that was like the first time that artists had like access to us all the time.
Yeah, all
so
the
they
time.
were like, hey, I know where you all are staying.
Yeah, well, let me pull
I can
up.
show up whenever I want because I know you like so we just had people just rolling through.
Yeah, and then you were flying out every weekend.
Oh yeah, and then every weekend I'm like flying to another city, playing a game, then flying back right into a studio session, then got to go to the gym in between sessions.
Summer.
That was wild. That was active. In the midst of that, I'm like, all right, YouTube channel probably gonna be on hold.
We were feeling ambitious.
Yeah, but it was fun. Like I learned so much.
So fun. I'm still editing. I have one more vlog coming out from that era. I'm so behind on vlog editing, but it's so fun. So I'm still gonna edit it and put it out. I think it's still funny.
Yeah, like I have so much content because I'm always collecting content because I'm like, all right,
yeah,
like,
you are.
whatever I'm gonna use this for, or whatever, because I've had a few like companies like ask me to like do behind the scenes on whatever I do or whatever. So I'm like, I collect the content just in case. I'm like, all right, once I get some time, I'm gonna actually put this out.
What have you been doing? Weren't you doing some brand shoots?
Yeah. So lately? I've been doing a lot of branding stuff right now, and then just like I'm trying to grow my platform outside of basketball. Mm-hmm. So like for the longest time, basketball has been like the driving force behind every other thing I do. So now I'm like, all right, like I don't know how many more years I'm gonna play. So now I'm like, okay, how do I transition into more of like a
personal brand?
Yeah, personal brand, and like what I want to do after basketball, because like there's a lot of stuff you can do, and I like didn't know that because like my whole life has been like basketball.
Yeah,
like,
but you also have music and
now there's like music. I've learned more about content, and like the reality show is me dipping my toe into like other stuff. I was like, just like let me just do stuff.
Yeah,
and that was like the first time I did it. And I'm glad I did that because like I had a really fun time, and it actually put me on to like the entertainment industry. So I was like, all right, like I had a lot of fun doing that, way more fun than I thought I'd have. So now I'm like, okay to do more.
So you would do it again?
I probably, honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
I can see you doing it again.
I love film and television now. Like I wasn't a huge fan before, but after that show, I'm like, I met so many cool people. The producers are so cool. The showrunners are cool. Like I just made so many friends, and I was like, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. Like I thought being on camera all day, every day would be really annoying.
It sounds annoying.
But I actually like day 2, I was like, I love it. Because I didn't have anything to hide. I was just like, all right, everyone's watching me. I felt like the Truman Show.
Oh my God.
Because they have the cameras on you while you're sleeping, while you're eating. I think they were in the bathroom. I don't know. I would always check. Somebody in a control room somewhere sees everything. Yeah. And I happen to like befriend the guy.
Even in the bedroom?
Everyone's bedrooms. Everyone's everything. They're seeing you. They know when you shower. They know when you.
Oh my God. It's like Big Brother. You want to answer?
Call.
Who is it? Who's calling us?
That is my father.
Oh.
Yeah, he's hanging out.
Get Drex on my podcast.
Oh, yeah. He'd be like, hey, what's up? What y'all doing?
He thought I was a boy last time. You were like, your dad was like, who are you with? You're like, with Desanti. Like,
oh, my gosh.
Tell him I said hi or something. I don't know.
The worst is like, it's my dad, like, he loves, like, I love my dad. This is like, he's so like very selective with his with what he chooses to like remember about like anything I do outside of basketball. So he'll be like, oh, what's your band doing? I'm like, not in a band.
Your little
Dad.
band.
Like, it's like, oh yeah, your band.
What did he think about the show?
Honestly, he was like, he didn't understand. Like,
he was like,
when
why?
I told him, I was like, hey Dad, I went on a show, and he was like, oh, what? For like basketball? I was like, no, like just regular reality show. He's like, why'd you do that for? Aren't you a private? I'm like, I'm not really private. My dad's a very private guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I don't want you to know anything. I don't even want you to know what I ate last night. Like, he's very private, and he doesn't do social media. He doesn't do any of that. So he was, when I told him about the show, I was like, hey Dad, I'm gonna be gone for like a month or so filming a show. He's like, huh? You signing with a team? So like, he didn't understand. So when I came back like a month later, he's like, hey son, I haven't heard from you in like a month. What happened? So I was like, oh, I was filming a show, Dad. Like, it was And he
That's
was
funny.
like,
Did he watch it?
yeah, he watched it and he laughed. He was like, okay, you are funny for doing it. Like he thought it was super funny. But he's
Yeah.
also like, oh, you look good on there. You represented yourself well.
That's good.
Good job. Like, I'm proud of you, son. You didn't do anything stupid. I'm like, I'm like, thanks.
Yeah, I feel like you carry yourself very well.
I tried to do stupid stuff. They didn't
Honestly,
put that on the
no.
show. I did a ton of
I
stupid
don't think
stuff.
I've ever seen you do anything stupid. Like, you're always the one to hold it down. Like, if I can count on anyone to make us look better out in public, it's you and not me. And I will hide behind you because I probably look so sloppy in public. And
No, I'm like,
I feel like you just hold it down.
I'm dumb, but like I make up for it like by like, because I'm tall. Everyone's like, oh, he's just like, oh, that's just how tall people are. They're different, you know. Like I get a pass for sure.
And you're like very calm. I feel like I'm all over the place whenever we start drinking, but I feel like
No, you're the fun one. Like I always rely whenever we go somewhere and I'm like my social battery dies, I'm like, Desanti, you gotta take over.
I got you.
Like
I'll carry
and
the torch.
Like you do carry. You're like, all right. Like I remember one time, John's manager took us to that place, and like I was
oh
like,
my god!
I was like, we're about to have the worst.
I remember
time.
we made eye contact and we were like,
oh my, because my social battery died at dinner.
Doing
I was
here?
done. I was like, all right, I don't have any energy for this, and
I thought everyone was kidding.
And you were like, oh, we're joking, right? Oh yeah, we'll
Like,
do
this
it.
is
Like it was a
fun.
joke, and like.
And then
I'm
it
sitting
happened.
there like, this is not gonna happen, and then it happened. We're all just sitting
and
there.
we're all
I'm like,
there
and I'm sitting there like, this is about to be the most
at the after hours.
awkward,
just like,
most not fun
what
thing
is
ever.
going
And like, I look over and I'm like, of all the people there, I thought you would be the one who would be like, we need to go.
we did need to go.
And I look over, everyone down the row, like manager, he's having a blast, but like John looks stressed. Majesty looks stressed. And then I look over to you and you're like having a blast. Like you're like, hey.
I just had to. Anywhere I go.
Like, you had so much fun that I have fun. Like I was like, all right, it can't be that bad. Yeah.
I have been in worse situations, but I feel like I definitely will keep riding the wave until it stops. And
that was actually like funny. Like I just remember sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, I did not think this was gonna happen.
I will dance my way into a good time.
Yeah, you rocked with it. Because whenever I expect you to be awkward, you're not. And whenever I don't expect you to be awkward, like on a goodbye or a hello, that's when you like you switch it up.
That's the real me. That's not a compliment.
Unpredictable. That's why I'm saying you do it on purpose.
I really don't. My friends used to tell whenever I used to partake in activities that are not that are frowned upon by the public eye, that I no longer partake in. People would say that I sound like I'm completely sober when I'm not, and when I'm sober I sound like I'm like high.
Yeah, I can't tell when you're like lit.
That's good.
It's because like you have like the same temperament, I guess. It's just like you're more like woo,
more like
just a few more woos than like normal.
Than the normal.
Yeah.
Remember in LA whenever we went out for Johnny's birthday and there was this random man that was hanging out in our group, and the whole time, I don't know why, we thought he was the owner of the club.
Oh my gosh. No,
I don't know.
Don't say we.
I
knew. I was like, because all right, that whole situation happened because of like the weirdest occurrence ever. Like me and Alyssa were having dinner with the casting director who casted us, and the dinner was right next to where we were gonna have John's birthday. So like, I was like, all right, we'll go to the dinner and then we'll head up to the club and hang out. And during the dinner, there's we're getting up to leave, and this dude walks in. He's like, hey, you guys, you all look important. And I was like, I appreciate you gassing me up, but like, what do you want? He's like, hey, and he just kept following us because we were walking. We had to go.
Oh no.
And he was like hanging out, talking or whatever. And he's like, and we were walking over to the club. He's like, oh, I know this. I can get you guys in. And he was like, oh, man, this is nothing. I just get people in, because
Did he get y'all in?
I own this spot. So I'm like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, what on earth is about to happen?
Did he end up getting y'all in
I have what
successfully?
I call a Drexler moment.
Oh my gosh!
And these happen every so often. They never happen by me, because
Wait.
everyone always thinks, before I say this, like, in my life, everyone always thinks, like, oh, just like go up there and tell him you're Adam Drexler, and like,
Yeah.
that'll get you. And like, that never works. Like, ever. I've never even tried it, because I know it's not going to work. It's not ever going to work. Like, whenever. Imagine if you're a bouncer at a club and someone walks up to you and says, yo, I'm Adam Drexler. Let me in. Are you going to let them in? No. I'd be like, no, you're banned forever, for life. Go. Like, and that people always think that that's a thing.
If I knew basketball, I probably would.
Even if I don't care if you're like, LeBron James is like,
okay.
It's like, I'm like, my dad's like the face, like, yeah, my dad could get in and be like, I'm Clyde Drexler, but like me, I'm like, I'm like D-list. I'm like,
didn't you do that for like New York Fashion Week or something at an after party too? And some guy like wanted you to say your identity.
Oh yeah, like everyone's always like, I know his secret.
Everyone's
I'm the
I'll
Batman.
get you in, and then they bring you and have you show your ID.
Yeah, that's a Drexler moment. So in this setting, I didn't know I was walking into a Drexler moment, but like, we're walking and he's like, we see a huge line and we're like, oh, we're gonna have to wait forever to get in this line. He's like, no, come with me. I know, and because during that interaction where we walked from that restaurant to that club, he found out what my last name was, because somebody was like, they just had to say it, like, oh, he's so and so, because I think he was like, you look like somebody. I was like, so like, it got brought up. He's like, line, forget the line, come with me. And we walk around the line, we walk right to the front, and I'm like, there's no way this dude is who he says he is, or like, there's no way like he has pull like that, because the chances of us running into him down the street from where we needed to go are slim to none.
Yeah.
And he's like, you, and he's pointing at like, because there's a door guy and then there's another door guy.
Yeah.
Because like, that's how LA nightlife is, I guess.
Bar
you
Liz,
have like,
by the way.
yeah, we're at Bar Liz. Yeah. And there's like, it's two door guys. One of them is just there to like make you wait. He's not even going to talk to you.
Yeah.
The other one is the one that act like, once you get past this guy,
even though it's
then
like
you talk to
empty upstairs, but like they're still gonna just make a
Yeah.
line to make
yeah,
it look
it's a line just
busy.
to have a line. So he walks up to the door, hey, get the guy in the back, not you, the guy in the back. So the guy who does the actual like letting you in, he walks over, and then he's like, I have Clyde Drexler's son with me. Let me in.
What was going through your head in that moment? Like,
and Alyssa and my casting director were like, they were like kind of background, so they didn't see this. But like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, and I just like, a little part of me died.
I know.
Because I'm like, all right, let's just go home. And the guy was like, okay. And
oh my God,
we head on up. I was like, oh,
wow,
that worked. Wow, I did not like that we did that.
The whole time I thought he was the owner of the bar.
Yeah. So then we get up there and he like hangs out. And I was like, oh, this guy.
That.
So I tell John, I'm like, yo, this guy thinks he owns the bar because he just used my last name to get in. And I think he did know like
someone, yeah.
But like, he didn't know them enough to like, you don't own the bar.
Yeah.
But like,
that's crazy because the whole night
John was like, well,
we better go to his penthouse.
We better get in with him.
He invited us to
like,
his penthouse party afterwards, and everyone was like down for it. I don't know why.
I was down for it until like,
I just thought
till it got like,
it got weird, right?
It did get weird because I think he got too drunk.
Yeah.
And he started like
spilling.
Yeah, he just like got a little bit too lit. Like, nice dude, actually, surprisingly. But
not nice dude, because when we were walking out, he followed us.
Oh yeah, that was when it got creepy. Like, because we left. We
were walking,
and we were like, well, we're gonna go, and like, we're walking down the street, and I'm like, because while we were there, he was like, well, I'm gonna text you guys my address if you want to hang out at my penthouse. show up. It's gonna
After
be
we
cool.
told him like,
I'm
probably
like,
not.
yeah, well,
like,
we're gonna head back, and
tired.
then we might, if we do, it's gonna be last second.
Yeah.
So like, I'm thinking, okay, that's the end of our interaction, and then we
Like,
walk
that
down the
normally
street,
means
and he
no.
follows us in his car. He's like, where you guys going? I was like, oh no.
He was like, I can fit 3 in
Oh my gosh.
car.
It's like, well, we gotta go get food. He's like, there's food in my penthouse.
Yeah.
It's like, we're running out of excuses, guys. We gotta put our heads together.
How did he not get the hint? That's so horrible.
And like, I always feel bad because like chances are he had a cool penthouse and he was probably a chill dude. He just like was really drunk, and I was like,
God,
maybe not tonight. And then he actually ended up like not being like bad. He actually.
You still kept contact with
Not
him?
super contact, but like he would message. He's like, "Hey, I'm doing a promo for this, and like if you guys want to."
So he's a promoter.
Yeah, I think he was like more a promoter.
He's like a middle-aged promoter because he was older.
Yeah, he was very, very much
That's
older.
crazy.
Cool guy. He had a young spirit. I don't know. I'm just like,
Young spirit.
like you just meet people that are like different, abnormal, and you just like, I guess it's a basketball thing. You just kind of like take them as they are, because like a lot of the times
A basketball thing?
in my experience, and
Why?
I don't.
Is everyone different personalities?
Yeah, like, all right, I don't recommend anyone doing this, but like sometimes like people are weird on the surface, and then you dig a little bit deeper, and they're like really cool. Like there was this one person who like, all these happen in Indonesia, but like they happen in all these countries, but like no, Indonesia, like they're all really, really cool.
Okay.
Like, so there was this one guy who messaged me. He's like, "Hey, like I'm a big fan. Like, I want to hang out with you and have dinner." And see that part of me where I'm like, all right, like I'm in Indonesia. I'm not from here. I'm gonna hang out with people that live here because they know the scoop or whatever.
Yeah.
So I went to dinner. And I was like, okay, worst case scenario, I just leave. Like he's not gonna he's not gonna kill me. Like
that's true.
So he actually ended up being like a huge fan. He was like, his messages were just awkward on social media, but like in real life, he was actually really cool. And he like gave me a jersey, and
that's cool.
I can't be like, I still keep in contact with him, and like he gave me like all these gifts, and
that's
like
so cool.
He just telling me stories about like, yeah, like I love to meet like these people. I went to the Olympics and all this stuff, and I just like super fan. I can't believe you actually went to dinner with me. Most people say no. I was like, nah, dude, like that was really cool. Like that was such a cool time. He was telling me about his family, all this stuff, and like my thing is I love to get to know them.
Yeah.
And they're like sitting there asking me questions. I'm like, forget me. What like what are you up to? Like what is it like out here? And like, so I've learned like sometimes people are like, they give off like a weird vibe at first, but like every now and then you run into someone really cool. I've just been lucky with it. But in that case in LA, probably not.
I don't know. I feel like, well, I think the weird thing that you're talking about is people's unintentional, like honest selves being weird. And in that case, it's not weird. But in LA, people put a front up. So it's like intentionally
yeah, it's like, oh, I'm somebody I'm not, or something. I don't know.
All
That's
the
weird.
name dropping or all the
I didn't like my thing. I don't like it when people drop my name. Like my name holds so little weight in the first place, but like, how are you gonna drop my name? That's so weird.
In front of you,
or
behind your back,
like
in front of you.
I guess he thought he was like being smooth about it, but like I'm like paying attention. I'm like you. How are you gonna get us in?
This has happened to you so many times.
It's happened more often than I like.
In New York, are you going to New York Fashion Week?
I'm thinking about it. I'm honestly thinking about it.
Are you gonna bring me?
You want to go?
Yes.
Okay, we can go.
Okay.
There's like, I'm trying to see that. I know a few. It's like I never thought that would be a thing I'd do, but now I know some designers, and like I know some people that put on the show. So like I get invites, and I'm like, every year I'm like, I might go. Like,
I think you should.
And I don't even understand fashion like that. Like it's fun to go. Like
my sister goes, but she's like working, so
that's cool.
I don't think she can bring me, but I'm sure we'll get our own invite.
Yeah.
Sooner than later. I'll get my own invite.
Or you just like walk in. Like,
Really?
because there was like one show that like Alyssa was walking in the show. It was a while. It was like a year ago, and she forgot to, like, normally it's like, because I flew in to see the fashion shows, and she was like, "Oh, I'll put your name at the door or whatever." And I called her, and she was like, "Hey, I forgot to do all that, and it's too late.
Just tell him I'm walking.
Like, I don't know how you're gonna get in, because it was like
what was it?
It was a big show.
Drexler?
Yeah, I had a Drexler moment.
The Drexler moment.
And this is like I think the only time that I've done it, I guess. And I didn't even really do it on purpose. I just like,
You had to.
like, because it was a big show. Like, they had some good.
Turn the light on.
All right. But it was like a big show, like bouncer, guest list, people, VIPs were showing up.
What was the after party like?
Oh, it was actually awesome.
Which one was it? Dior?
Honestly, I don't.
It was a brand.
It was a brand. I'm really bad with brands. But like, there were people there that like were like, there was a dude that was like a big deal sitting next to me. And I was like, because when I walked up to the front, I was like, oh, they were like, "What are you?" I was like, "I'm Adam Drexler." And I just said, because I said it sarcastically, because she was like, she gave me like an attitude. She's like, "What are you?"
Oh, like a
like,
model
she was trying to see
designer?
like if I was a VIP or like a regular whatever.
Oh,
I was like,
okay.
"I'm Adam Drexler," and she was like, and she gave me a
sir.
gold wristband.
So it works.
I didn't do it on purpose, but like, she gave me a gold wristband. It was like VIP.
It worked.
And it was front row. Like, so I'm sitting front row, and like the guy next to me he has a film crew with him, and I guess he's shooting a documentary. His name was like Carlton Jones or something. Like, I didn't know who he was, because I don't know fashion, and if anyone does know, I'm probably stupid for not knowing who he is. But he's like a big designer. He's wearing like a gold suit.
Wow.
And shades on.
Of course.
I'm sitting there front row, and he sits right next to me, and the camera crew is filming me and him, and like we're sitting next to each other, and I'm like, I look kind of spiffy, like I look nice. And he's like, "Oh, ta-ta." And I'm like, or whatever. He just like had this elegance about him. He's like, "Yes, and who might you be?"
He acknowledged you.
And I was like, "I'm Adam Drexler." And he's like, "Ah, you a designer?" I was like, "No, I'm a basketball player." I was like, in that moment, I sounded like an idiot. I was like, I bounce ball.
No.
Me bounce ball. Caveman.
Me throw rock.
He was like, yes. I was like, "Who are you?" And he's like,
"Oh no."
And like as if I'm supposed to know who he is. And like, I felt bad, because like I didn't mean to like ruin his hype, because he has a film crew around him. Like, people are like, "Oh yes, this will be in the documentary."
Wow.
And I was just like, he's like, "I'm Carlton Jones," and I was like, "Oh, my bad."
Expecting you to know who he was.
I was like, "What do you do?"
Oh my God, you kept going.
He was like, "I'm a designer. Maybe you've seen me on the cover of a magazine." And he wasn't that pompous. Like, I'm like, but like, that's just like kind of the vibe that it was. He was like, "Maybe you've seen me in some of my work." I was like, "Oh, that's really cool. I don't really know much about fashion. I'm basically a Neanderthal here in the fashion world."
I'm just the boyfriend.
And yeah, he was like, "Oh, that's cool." He was like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, I'm dating one of the models." He's like, "Oh, that explains it." And like, we sit there and that show, and like their film crews all in our faces and whatever, and like Gamora, Lee Simmons, and all those people are there, and like all these like TV people, and I'm just like, how did I get front row? Like, I'm
Drexler
definitely the least famous
moment.
person here, but it was cool. I was feeling myself. And then Alyssa was like, after the show came up, I go to find her, and she was like, "Hey, like, where were you?" I was like, "Oh, I got in." She's like, "How do you get in?" Like, they said it was sold out, and like there was no one could get in, and it was like VIP guest only and whatever. I was like, well, I guess I'm VIP and whatever.
I guess I'm Adam Drexler after all.
So I had a fun time.
That sounds fun.
But like Fashion Week, I always like there are some really cool designers out there. Like some of them, like there were these two designers that were fans of the show, and that's how like
oh,
they started
nice.
inviting me to like the stuff that they put on.
That's cool.
So and Alyssa watched for them one time. It was like really cool.
That's
so
really cool.
I like that's kind of how I got into that.
Dear Alyssa, I know she's still modeling now in New York. That's
Yeah,
so
she's
badass.
Yeah, she's with Wilhelmina now. Yeah, she's really cool.
Very cool.
You like New York?
I've never been. I'm kind of scared.
It's kind of a scary place.
I get a lot of social anxiety.
I get like there's like too many people.
Yeah.
So
that's what I don't like.
I get annoyed with not having any space.
Yeah. Anywhere. But I need to, it's on the bucket list. I need to go soon.
Yeah, you gotta go. All right, so Fashion Week is like a fun time to go because it's just like they just make everything so elegant and so important seeming, and like the building is like literally got rats in it.
Oh my God.
But like, it's cool. Like it's a cool time.
That's fun.
But I don't think I could ever live in New York.
Yeah, I don't know how people do it.
I don't get it.
Seems crazy.
I'm a West Coast kid.
Like Texas?
Portland.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think I could live somewhere where there's like not enough trees and grass and stuff.
Okay.
Like I just can't do that.
True. Have you thought of moving back there?
Yeah, a lot. I think I might.
Okay.
I don't know. Like it's gonna be a game time decision.
Would you move to LA?
Maybe. It depends on like what the circumstances are, what I'm doing,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But I think like I could, but I'd have to see. Like I'd have to have like a good system out there because you need like a lot of friends in LA and you need like cool normal people to hang out with.
Normal people.
Because yeah, if you get too involved in like everyone's got to be famous, everyone's got to be like a big deal,
Yeah.
then you kind of gonna go crazy. But if you have some people that are just like, hey, I'm here to have like a normal time with you, like we can go to dinner and not talk about who is more famous or like whose elbow we touched
in my music video, who I'm buying coffee for, who I work for, but like I actually just got them coffee once and not actually friends with them.
With that, and that's no like, not to shame anyone that is like, that's the industry, because like it's about who you know and like
no, it is
your claim to fame,
sure.
But
if it's like a false claim, then it's weird. Then it's
even
like,
if it's like a real claim, I'm like, who kind of cares?
Well,
like,
if it's like in conversation and it's like makes sense for them to bring it up, also, then it's fine because it's true. But people like to.
Yeah, I think people just bring it up out of nowhere.
Yeah,
like I touched Chris Brown's elbow yesterday, and that
we made
is why
eye
I'm
contact,
famous.
and now I'm here. So you all need to bow down to me right now. Do you know who I am? Type beat.
That's the everyone wants me to say that. Like you're supposed to tell them who you are.
You tell them who you are.
Yeah, I'm like that is gonna get my ass beat one day. Like,
I don't think anyone would try to beat your ass.
Nothing good can come of that. Like nothing but like hate. People will be like, oh, I don't like that guy.
The side eye, yeah. Well, I'm glad you have some self-awareness.
I probably don't. I'll probably do some stupid stuff that people.
I don't think so. I feel like you're the most composed out of everyone.
No, I'm wild.
So wild.
Yeah, I'm so super duper wild, just unhinged.
Do you have a PR team?
I am in the middle of switching PR.
Okay.
So, yes, I used to have like a company, and I switched over to like, because for basketball, like I used to do, I used to have like a bigger agent, and like they used to have multiple working parts with it, and then I switched over to like one agent who was one of my best friends, and like he's like a family member to me, and like I like that situation better. So with this, I switched PR to someone who's like a friend of mine who like is actively like searching for the best thing for me, instead of like just a company that's just like I'm one of
Just
many.
another number.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
yeah, I'm working with a new PR and management team, and like they're really, really cool. A bit too cool. Like they're always like, I didn't think things would pick up with like all the brands and the social media stuff and like the entertainment, whatever. But like, it's like within like a week of like kind of like agreeing on terms, like she was like, oh, we have a film shoot here, we have another film shoot here, and like she was sending me like set times with like the full calendar and like the catering and the stuff.
Nice.
And like photo shoots and meetings and all kinds of stuff. I was just like, you're on it. She had like
awesome.
she had a whole PowerPoint thing set up. I was like, that's way cool. Like,
love that.
like
Love
immediately got me like
PowerPoint.
a cool like endorsement thing. I was like, that's really, really cool.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm kind of venturing into that space and just trying to get more active with that.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's exciting.
Mm.
Okay, is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap
Yeah.
up?
Let's talk about you 1 second. Like, so like, what is your place that you want to end up at? Like, in terms of location, like Houston, West Coast, East Coast, abroad.
I think I need to go to LA for a while.
Right
Just
on.
because there's so much creativity in Houston, but I think in LA it's another level. It's a world city. Everyone knows. Everyone that is pursuing something creative goes to LA, even if just for a little bit. And even though there is a lot of negative things that come with LA, there's always like the people that are actually serious, and they just know that's where a lot of the commerce is for the entertainment industry.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I think like with you, like you have a really good work ethic. So like LA is like one of those places that like it shows a lot more if you're there like in the mix. That's
Thank
really
you.
cool.
Yeah, I also think that as long as you stay true to yourself, it'll be fine. And I think I have a sensitive bullshit meter. So once I just don't like combine with people that are not true to themselves. And I feel like I've been manipulated so many times that I can smell it right out of the, I don't know what weird metaphor I was gonna
you're like
say.
nice.
I
I
am
say this
really
because people don't
nice.
understand. Like, and everyone always says that like it's like just like a thing, but
I
like
think I'm not nice
you're like
anymore.
you're like a good person. Like,
I'm nice, but I don't think I'm like as nice as you think I am anymore because of being fucked over so much.
but like you're like a all right. The word is like you're like a good person. Like in terms of like
Thank you.
you do the right thing. Like
I do. I feel like I keep it real. I keep
yeah,
it.
like you keep it real. Like and that's like seems like such a basic thing to say, but it's like and everyone always like, oh, you're such a good person. Like no, I'm like all right. Like most people like when they're like faced with something where they have to make a decision, like you make the morally right decision.
I
Like
enjoy being
every
fair.
time. So like I'm like, all right, that's a rare thing because some people like they're really nice to some people, they're mean to others, and they're like,
It's just about what like people can
no,
get
it's like
out
you're
of
like
people.
it's consistently good decisions and like good.
Thank you.
Good
And I think it's because I
behaviors
know I can carry my own weight, and I think other people manipulate other people because they can't carry their own weight, so they feel like they have to get it out of other people in a manipulative way.
And that's like the problem with being like that is like some people will see that and be like, oh, okay, I could get away with stuff and I can try to walk all over you. And that's like a thing where it's like you are like good to the point where people will try to use you.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, I've seen it a lot. It's been, I think over the last year is where I've finally didn't care. Now I don't really care if I come off as not nice, you know, because other people don't care. So why should I
You're
care?
in your mean girl phase.
Yeah, I mean, not
You're mean,
mean, but
like,
just dry.
I'm not going to say excuse me.
No, just dry. I think there's a difference between like mean and just like silence.
I see you like be sassy, but like not mean.
I don't think I'm mean.
I feel like you'd be bad at it.
But yeah, I don't think I'm mean. I think I just learned that it's okay to not reply.
Yeah.
Sometimes people just need to be left on red.
That's true. I had that problem. I
You do
respond to,
it
like, everything.
intentionally.
I respond to everything.
No, I feel like sometimes. Do you? Now you do. You
Like-
used to not when you had an Android. That's a different story.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I got bullied into switching phones. I never thought, like, in today's age, like, people would just bully me. Oh, you have an Android phone. I'm like, it's just a phone.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying I respond in a timely fashion, but like, if somebody messages me or like stops me on the street or whatever, I give them like time. Like,
yeah,
that's like the weirdest thing is like I have a problem with that to the point where I give people too much time and then don't have time for the people that like I should actually like have time for. Like, it's weird.
I think you are really nice. You think you're
That's
too
not nice. It's more like I indulge in whatever people are trying to, like, someone's like I've had people message me and be like, yo, I just want to like call you and tell you my life story, and I'm like, okay.
You're like, let's hear it.
And like a lot of the time, like,
and then Majesty hasn't gotten a text from you in like a month.
I don't text. I like people reach out to
That's
me.
True,
I don't reach out to. I don't.
So
like,
that's why you're like,
message
I'm
people.
not gonna reach out to him.
Yeah, like because
That's
just
why you won't reach out to him.
Don't like the furthest I'll go is I'll see something funny and I'll send it. Like, and that's how you know, like, if I do that like once a month, if I send you like a meme,
You don't
you're
send
like,
me. Oh yeah, you do. Once
I do.
a month, you do.
Like, if I send you one, you're my friend. Like, you're my really good friend. Like, that is me reaching out as hard as I can. Like,
yeah.
But I said, like, okay, after this month, I'm gonna like turn it on. I'm gonna be a better friend, a better like. I'm gonna be more like responsive.
I think you're doing great. Just maybe like.
No, I'm gonna ramp it up. I've been doing a very low effort. Majesty, like I just texted him or I just messaged him
a meme.
It
doesn't count.
They're funny.
It's not like, oh shit, it's funny. Now we're cool.
That because
as opposed to like if it's not funny, like y'all are still mad at each other.
I don't know. Like I'm not like I'm one of those people that like, all right, if we had like a good time and like we hung out last time I saw you, then I expect us to like still be like in the same space of like being cool next time I see you. So like whenever people are like, oh hey man, things have changed now, I'm like, why? Like, and I don't recognize it, so I just kind of
no, that's true. But
some people will get like really mad, like, man, I messaged you and you didn't respond for 2 days.
We all were really close. Like we all used to talk every single day.
Yeah, well, he muted the group chat. That's where all my texting goes. Like, if I text, it's in that chat, and he mutes it. So I'm like,
yeah,
you can find me in there. I'm in there.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, I really have to pee.
Okay, yeah, I was like, how have you lasted this long? You pee every 30 minutes.
Okay, thank you guys for tuning into Tough Luck Podcast. This is the first you're my first guest.
I'm your first guest.
And
that's really
cool. Since I got back to podcasting actively. So if you're on Spotify, Apple Podcast, leave a 5-star review or leave a review. No, it has to be 5 stars. I think that's illegal to say. I don't think I'm supposed to say that, but if you feel called to leave a 5-star review, please do so.
If you should so choose.
Or if you're on YouTube, hit the like button and subscribe and turn the bell on. You'll only get notified like once a week because I'll only post once a week. All right. And this is Adam Drexler. Do you know who he is? Do you even know who he is?
Oh my gosh.
What's your Instagram? I'll link his Instagram below. Drex Glides 2 on Instagram. I'll link everything down below. Thank you for watching. Bye.